All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fellow fishing accomplices, good morning and welcome back to Fishin. So it has finally happened, folks. We're making good to the promise. We're in Montauk right now, and yeah, it's September 1st, and you know what that means. First and foremost, black sea bass. You're allowed to keep 6 of them starting today. I'll be very happy if I can find 6 legal size sea bass, but it's definitely a possibility. These waters can definitely hold them. Additionally, it is Labor Day weekend, so that's a thing. And yeah, if you look around, you might not really see it, but it's quite breezy out. We got some serious adversity to overcome today. First and foremost, obviously, we got some pretty stiff northeast winds. Not terrible, and obviously we found an area that's fairly sheltered from it. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of travel to get to some more fishable or fishy areas. Additionally, it just so happens that one of my kayak tires blew out. Not totally blew out, but it's leaking from the valve, and I tried my absolute best to seal it. I just found out about this like the very last time I went fishing, and I thought I had a pretty good seal. Not perfect, but no, it's nothing. I did order a new tire, but it's obviously not going to do me much good at this kind of notice, so the show must go on. But yeah, we're going to do the best we can. It just means we have to take our time a bit more getting out of the water. Dragging the kayak is not fun when you only have like one really functional wheel. You know, one little thing after another, but whatever. I won't bore you with the details. You're here to watch me catch some fish, or at least try and attempt to. And that's what we're going to try and make good on. It's true. So please stay tuned, because you know what we're about to do. Get some fishing accomplished. All right, it is pretty nasty out here. I mean, it could be far worse, but we got to stay pretty close to shore until this wind lets down. Fishing right along a ledge right now, about 25 feet of water. Getting a lot of little bites. Water temp's about 68 degrees, so quite a bit cooler than what we're used to out west. This is more of a fluke spot, I'd say. I don't expect anything too big here. Probably a lot of porgies too. But I definitely think there's the possibility of like some legal-ish sized fluke here. The only real things we're looking to keep today are fluke and sea bass. No porgies today. I don't really want to deal with them. Save that for when we're on the western end of the island and in the city. But let's see what we can do. There we go. That's a nice fish. All right, sea biscuit. That's a good sign. All right, first sea bass of the day. Got to start somewhere, and that's where we started. Let's keep working. Oh, baby. That is the sea bass we've been looking for. Ooh, that's a good fish. That's a nice sea bass. That's, I think, a sea bass. Maybe a fluke. Oh. That was a nice fish, whatever it was, and it might come back, but I'd seriously doubt it. Seriously doubt it. No. Dang. Push into this structure, see if we can pull something. There's something. Hit the porgy. And it's off, so probably. And came back. It's a sea bass. Yeah, I'm getting closer. It's not a bad one. It's probably like a 14-incher. Yeah, they want the paddle shad. Ooh, that's something nice. Finally on something feels half decent. Might be fouled, I don't know. It feels weird. It feels kind of like a sea robin. it a weak fish? What is that? It's fouled. It's a big spot. Wow. They're not spot kingfish. I'll keep this. These are good eating. These are quite good eating, in fact, if I remember correctly. Not my biggest one, but I like them better than weak fish. It's in the weak fish family, but not quite the same. Let's get a little measure action. 14.5 inch, that's not bad. I'm gonna lead off this guy. Lead him out and get him right on ice. All right, nice little northern kingfish. Not expected, but very welcomed. Don't typically get a lot of these things. They have very small mouths. Once I got one that was like 18 inches, and that thing was a giant by comparison. It's like a poor man's redfish. But yeah, let's keep pushing. We're in it to start keeping fish now. I do remember them being pretty tasty, so more so than weak fish for me, but as some of you commented on the last video, there are some better ways to prepare than what I'm typically doing, so I'll keep that in mind for the future if we ever get a mortally hooked one. That's a fluke. That's a fluke, finally. Not a big one particularly, but it's a good sign. Yeah, you can go. I don't need you. That's a sea bass. That's a sea bass. I think. It's nice, whatever it is. Hope it's a sea bass. Oh yeah, it's our first legal one if we can get them. Get close, but that should keep. That should keep. Unfortunately, I'm certain it's a Connecticut keeper, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a New York keeper. Let's take a look. He's so close. Like, he's right on 16.5. I'm not gonna keep him. He's risky business if he shrinks. The gill plate, it's not the gills. Pretty.
So I fished that area for a little bit longer, and all I was really getting into was small sea bass. So I decided to move out deeper once the winds continued to lay down, just to see if I could find some better sized fish, because I really couldn't find any quality in this area.
All right, well, we're in a new area right now, fishing a bit deeper, about 50 to 60 feet, depending on where we're at, actually even close to 70 at some points. Tide is definitely moving much more out here, so we've up to a 1 ounce jig head. That might even be inadequate, but we will see soon enough. And yeah, let's see if we can find some fish. There we go. That's a nice fish. Or just a porgy. Quite a bit deeper. We're at like 78 feet. This is a spot I've fished a fair amount over the years, and I find that it fishes pretty well during outgoing tide, which we have right now. Let's see if we can hold with 1 ounce. I've also had moments where this spot is just complete dud, but there's a lot of good area here. Worth investigating. There he is. It's a sea bass. That's a good sign. There we go. That feels better. That feels way better. Definitely a sea bass. That one looks like the one we got earlier. It's like very close to keeper. Not even gonna measure them. It's probably like 15. All right, this tide is moving pretty fast, so we're gonna switch to a 1.5 ounce Spro bucktail, a bit heavier, and we're gonna throw a 5-inch grub on it. Kind of mimic more of like a squid profile, because I know they can be here. And obviously we need to hold bottom a bit better. Let's see how this does. I might even throw a Fluke strip on there, depending on how things go, or a Fat Cow jig strip, just in case we just keep getting our gulp mangled. There we go. Is it a weak fish? Yeah, a little weak fish. Not gonna keep them, obviously, but get a better look. There we go. It's not a bad fish, but it's not a great fish. It's picking up weight, which is always a good thing. It still doesn't feel that big. Better. That's better fish. Doesn't feel too bad. Doesn't feel like great though. Really want to try and bring some fish home tonight, because we will eat it tonight. Sea bass, fluke, pretty much anything but weak fish or bluefish I'm down for what I have to work with tonight. But little fish. How are we getting these guys? Is that a bluefish? Wow. No wonder I got snapped off earlier. Gulp's already ruined, but still hope for the lure. All right, that last riff, they didn't just take the gulp tail, but they also took my jig strip, which is uncommon. We're gonna go big or go home. We got some fluke strips from earlier this summer. I think legitimately from that day that I got the 28 incher. So we're literally gonna take a piece of doormat to try and catch another doormat or whatever we can catch. So we're gonna hit this one more time, do a long drift to one other area I'd like to hit, and then we'll start deciding what we want to do next while this tide's moving. All right, fluke strip mangle gulp combo. I've done very well with this in the past. It's especially good when I know that when I think there's a chance of getting a really big fluke, particularly in deeper water. What'd I tell you? That's a fluke. Immediate. Wow, that's some good feedback right there. Doesn't feel terrible. I'm gonna net him just in case. Nah, not even close. Not even close. Not even net denial. Net denial. But thanks for the action. Thanks for the action. I feel like it's another fluke. Little guy. I think it's a fluke. Weak fish. Let's put this right back on and get it right back down. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a sea bass. Won't keep. Sorry, buddy. give this one more shot, because we got quite a hike back, unfortunately. Is that a fish? Is that a fish? That's a fish. It's a big fish. It's a big fish. Got something big. Oh my God. 11th hour. 11th hour. It's a big fluke. I don't think he's huge, but it's definitely not small. All right. I'll take it. We will certainly take it. That's what we came here for. Big guy. Nice. Let's get a little measure action just to prove it. And then we'll do that drift one more time. Then we gotta start headed back. 20 and a half, not that big, but very thick. All right, well, finally got a keeper fluke. Had to work for it. Just as I was about to get out of this spot, so I'll give it 2 drifts. And if we don't get anything, we're gonna bounce and start making our way back, because we're gonna eat this guy for dinner tonight. I just want to see if I can get him a buddy. Ooh, yeah, he's lighting it up pretty quick, but I don't know. It feels decent. This could be your second fish to really secure dinner. Doesn't feel as big as the last one, but it's hard to say in this current. Oh, that's a keeper. Come on. He's close. I don't know. I hope he is a keeper, because that would be dinner. And he just spit it, so perfect. So close. 18 and a quarter. All right, of course, I'm finally getting on some action just as I'm trying to get out of here, but I guess this is a better time than ever to do our not quite a seltzer review of the day. This I'm not even going to try and butcher, but I'm going to say Ramune. This is one of the first drinks that actually has directions on it. Serve, drink, chilled, check. Remove plastic film, okay. All right, I think I got you so far. Oh, what just happened here? Oh, I just lost our directions too, so yeah, we're gonna hopefully open this. To open, pop out, opener. Oh, we gotta push the marble in. That should be fun. Well, nothing like a fishy pair of pliers to do that, right? All right, so yeah, this drink actually has directions. We put the part in, and I'm not going to review this, but I'll definitely give you my takeaways on this. This is melon flavored, by the way. Sangria, made with real sugar. It says product of Japan, but comes from California. This is interesting. Definitely one of the more unique drinks we've had on this channel, and hopefully this video is a bit unique, as we haven't done a lot of Montauk videos. Not unique, but a bit more distinct. Let's see if we can get one more keeper to join that other fish and hopefully end this day right.
Yeah, so unfortunately this is one of those scenarios where I finally really started to get on the bite just as I had no choice but to start to pack it up. As I mentioned earlier, I launched quite a ways from where I wound up, and a lot of that's due to how windy it was in the morning. But yeah, I basically just got like a decent sized sea robin, which I ended up keeping. And on my way back, I encountered a school of bluefish. I was hoping there might be some albies in the mix, and perhaps there were, probably not. But it was just a nice little thing to end up with. I did end up fishing the next day, two mixed results, which I'll just do a few of the highlights from in the next parts of the video.
So we're still out in Montauk right now. This is our second day. Definitely a little breezier than I was hoping for this morning, but it's doable for now. I do know it's going to pick up later in the day, so that's telling what kind of day we're going to have. But yeah, fortunately I was able to launch a bit closer to where I wanted to fish today. I had some hopes to go out to some really deep water, but with this wind I'm going to have to keep it fairly inshore. But regardless, I think we can make it work. Just like yesterday, I'm going to try and really work, you know, bucktails in the deeper water and smaller presentation in shallow. Might break out the fluke strips because that seemed to be the real ticket. We have the 1.5 ounce Spro bucktail. Got a fluke strip to tip it off. This was really the best combo I found to get onto some decent fluke yesterday. And even some sea bass with this too. So let's give this a shot and see how we do. Not terrible, but not legal. There's something little. Ah, that's surprising. That's a fluke. Not terrible. That works. All right, just got a fluke. One thing that I'm definitely noticing, which should probably come as no surprise, is if you fish a lot of gulp, you tend to set the hook on the faster side, just because you don't want that fish to realize that it's not actually eating real fish. With the strip, however, especially a larger one like I'm fishing, you probably want to give the fish a little time to chew on it. Otherwise, when you set the hook, you're just going to be pulling the strip out of the fish's mouth, and they'll completely miss the hook. That's just one of the little things I've noticed. All right, these fluke strips are really what I think the fluker dialed into with what I got. I mean, I think squid would probably work just as well, but this is what we got. One thing I also notice if you don't do a lot of fluke fishing is that the strings of the fluke that kind of like meet off to the side of the main fillet is really what works best. And you don't want it to be too chunky. Like this nice like flat presentation is what I find works best. But we're gonna go over that at least one more time. We had 2 decent hits on it, and if we keep getting fluke, we'll keep hitting this area. But I do want to kind of explore this one spot that I've never really put time into while it's not so bad out. There he is. Let's stay on this time. Nah. We tried that first spot, gave it quite an effort. There's fish around, but just nothing super serious that makes me want to stay. And if this is as nice as the weather's going to get today, I do want to do a little exploration. So we're going to fish some deeper stuff. And there's some good rocks around there, some good contours. And check it out and hopefully find something. Never really fished this area before. It's probably the furthest I've ever ventured out in this part of the Eastern Sound. That being said, it's not that deep. It's like around 50 feet and it's going to ascend. So let's see what it looks like. There's definitely some good rocks around here, some good contours. Bet the current's going to be ripping, but we'll see what we can do. There we go. There it goes. Definitely felt like a fluke. Let me see back. That's a fluke. Well, that's one of the things we're looking for. Ooh, yeah, that's a good fish. Maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, that's best sea bass of the day so far. Might keep. Not by much, but we'll check. 16. Figures. Pile of fish in the bottom right here. Got barely any tide, so we might have a shot at these. Probably sea bass. We need to get... And a loss, come on. All right, that last spot had a few moments of success, but otherwise it was pretty slow. I don't think it's necessarily a spot. I think it's really just the tide. It's about to slack out, so I definitely don't want to be in this spot when things turn over, because it will be a lot of effort to get back with all the wind and tide pushing me away. So in the meantime, we're gonna head to the last furthest area I want to go to, which is basically in the complete opposite direction. Good spot, lots of rocks, deep, good for sea bass, fluke, whatever, and then we can work that outgoing tide, which tends to be the better tide, I find, or has been for me lately. So that is the plan. If that doesn't work, I don't know what we're gonna do, folks. See what we can do. There he is. Oh, good fish, good fish. Losing a little weight, but I don't think it's a bad fish. Ooh, he's waking up. Waking up now. That one's gonna go over 16 and a half. Not by much, but it will. Chunky guy. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah, I don't know if that sea bass would have been a keeper. It was very, very close. And I would have kept it if it was 16 and a half, like a clear over 16 and a half. But if it's that close, I'm not too upset if it flopped out of the boat. Not quite. Oh, it's got some weight. It's got some real weight. Felt really nice for a second. It's probably close to keeper. Nope, 18. About what I thought. All right, I think that's gonna do it for today. The wind is still not too bad, but it's definitely building. Additionally, without the trolling motor, it's just gonna be a lot of work, and I don't really wanna have to do that. I already have to do a bit more work because one of my kayak tires is blown out, so I'm gonna have to do several runs to get my stuff in the car. But yeah, definitely a tricky session out here in Montauk. I did find that to at least exclusively target the fluke. Obviously, it seemed that going deeper and throwing the fluke strips was kind of the name of the game, and definitely giving them a little bit more time to chew on them. Some okay sized sea bass. I was hoping there'd be some better ones around and more of them, but just kind of eluded me this trip. But whatever, it was a fun time. Beautiful weather, even with the wind. So I'll try and maybe get out here one or two more times before fluke season ends, or just the season in general, but we'll see how things go because we got work starting up next week. So that is a wrap. I will catch you in the next one, and of course, goodbye from fishing.